Now, talking about games, and we love to get controversial. Packers versus Chiefs. I don't want to talk about the whole game. Specifically, I want to talk about the calls or the no calls, the refereeing in this game, the end of it specifically. MVS, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, all involved in calls or non-calls at the end of this game that did shape it. And now not only that did it shape it, but the refs and that committee doubled down on all their calls and said all the calls were correct. Now, for me personally, on the pass interference or the non-pass interference calls, I'm going to throw this out there. MVS, yeah, totally interfered with, in my opinion. No hand
100%.
fighting. Cornerback Carrington Valentine got there early. I don't think anyone really has any issues. So doubling down on a call like that, not the right call. With what comes to Travis Kelce, then potentially talking about the Hail Mary interfered. It's the end of the game. Not a lot of refs are going to throw that there. They're not going to. And on top of that, a lot of hand fighting between both of them. I don't think it's really pass interference regardless. Between the end of the game and the hand fighting and where they're at, I don't think it's there. When it comes to just the pass interference calls, one is incorrect. I think the other one is correct.
The NFL has jumped the shark with these pass interference calls. It was meant so you wouldn't tackle the player as it went by. And the statute, the wording of the rule needs to be changed to, man, if that corner is step on step and they're hand fighting and he gets his head back around to watch the ball, to me it's a no call every time. The defensive back went through the back of MVS on that play. It's 100% a pass interference call. I'm a little sick of the fourth quarter comebacks being the huck the ball up and hope for the penalty. But in this case, Patrick Mahomes makes a great throw. MVS is where he's supposed to be. He interfered. Going to the other one, it's never going to happen. It's a Hail Mary. I'm okay with the no call there. And also, it was 100% not late hit on Patrick Mahomes on the way out. But you know what, man? That's Patrick Mahomes, and he's the face of the league. They're going to protect him every single time. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with them protecting the star quarterbacks in the league. It just is what it is. That's how the NFL makes money. Now, when you get Trevor Siemian back there, they can tee off on that guy for all I care. If you get Cooper Rush in there, the stars deserve the protection.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the hit on Patrick Mahomes, sure, bad call, absolutely. But regardless of if it was a late hit or not, they would have thrown a flag. You can't hit a quarterback like that, not anymore, without a flag being thrown. At the end of the day, whether you like the call or not, or you think the game is, as some people would put it, pussified, or it's getting soft, it is the standard. And as a player, you must know the standard. This comes down to the player, right? Who hits Patrick Mahomes? You're right there out of bounds. Why hit him like that? What's the point? Why just to try to ignite your team and get them excited? It's the end of the game. What's the point of hitting Patrick Mahomes like that? Regardless of what the rule is and what your opinion is about that rule, you have to know what it is. You have to know what the standard is. You have to know what you are doing. And it's not like this has been a brand new thing, right? Most of these guys who are coming up now, they know exactly what's going on because they've grown up with these rules now. Sure, have they gotten a little bit more and more protective? Absolutely. But again, like you said, it's a business, and we are going to protect these star players, and Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys. You can't hit people like that. Can't hit a quarterback like that, I should say. And then the last thing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about with these Packers versus Chiefs game is the officials should have had a 10-second runoff off the clock. I don't know if you saw that. So language straight out of the NFL rulebook. If a replay review after 2-minute warning of either half results in the on-field ruling being reversed, and the correct ruling would not have stopped the game clock or would have otherwise restarted the game clock before the next snap, the officials will run 10 seconds off the game clock and reset the play clock to 30 seconds before permitting the ball to be put in play on the ready for play signal. So should have been a 10-second runoff. and not a lot of people are talking about that one. Obviously, the big thing everyone wants to talk about is the no calls or the calls on the field. The biggest one I think that a lot of people aren't talking about is that 10-second runoff, because I do think it changes the game a little bit more than people actually give it credit for, because that's one where, in my opinion, that's unacceptable. As an official, you should know your basic rules, your runoffs after changing a play, after a fumble recovery, whatever it is, within that 2-minute warning. You have to know your own rules. The no calls, whatever it is, those are instant, in the moment, bang, bang plays. You make the decision whether it's right or wrong. But when it comes to your own rules, you have to know them.
Yeah, there was a lot of strangeness going on with the officiating. Yes, on Monday and Sunday. Obviously, I don't want to drag us back to our number one topic, but there was some wild stuff in the 49ers Eagles game. Right before that Dre Greenlaw play, Jalen Hargrave, who's a former Eagle, hit Jalen Hurts. You know, as a 49ers fan, I got to say it was probably a little late, and there's no call on that. The inconsistency in the way the game is called is what is frustrating, I think, for fans and teams and everything like that. I think if there was a standard and it was held to, I think that the sucky part of it is the more violent the hit, the more likelihood the call is going to be made. He laid Patrick Mahomes out on the sideline there. It looked pretty bad, and so they threw a flag on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the hit was clean, he was in bounds. He was going out of bounds. However you want to call it there. It looked like a violent hit, and it drew a penalty. So
yeah, and I think there's a big difference, right? I mean, between Patrick Mahomes going out of bounds and he's not initiating that contact, and if you go and you take a rewind all the way back to Thursday night where Dak is taking that ball in and he's tucking it and he's running and he gets in the face of that defensive back after initiating contact, it's different, right? You get tackled, brought to the ground, but you initiated that contact. One's going to the ground, the other one isn't. It's a huge difference. And again, it's consistency. It's knowing the rules. It's something that is definitely going to frustrate